Continuing the UV visible spectroscopy, these were the transitions which we have theoretically discussed, that these transitions are possible in the organic compounds. Various transitions are these: sigma to sigma star, pi to pi star, n to pi star. Whether all of these are so important? No. All of these transitions are not so important because these are theoretically predicted. Actually, they exist in the UV visible spectra or not, that depends upon whether the transition concerned is allowed or the transition concerned is forbidden. It means some of the transitions are forbidden and some of the transitions are allowed transitions. Whether the transitions are allowed or they are forbidden, it is governed by certain rules. That first of all, the epsilon value determines whether the particular signal it is visible in the spectra or not, whether the particular line, spectral line, is visible or not. The epsilon value, which is molar absorptivity or molar extinction coefficient, it should be more than 10 raised to power 3. If it is less than that, that means that line is very weak, less intense, we are not able to see it in the spectra. But if the value is more than the 10 raised to power 3, then that transition is particularly allowed transition. So molar extinction coefficient is the first that tells whether the line is visible in the spectra or not visible. The molar extinction value for the pi to pi star transition is generally more, and these are visible in the UV visible spectra. Pi to pi star transitions are symmetry allowed transitions also. That is why these transitions are important. But is symmetry allowed transitions? The pi orbital as well as the pi star both lie in the same plane. So electron is able to jump from one orbital to the another orbital because they are lying in the same plane. So that is why they are symmetry allowed transitions. So electron can jump from the filled orbital to the anti-bonding molecular orbital. So these are the allowed transitions. Forbidden transitions. N to pi star transitions are also probable because very less amount of energy is required to change non-bonding electron from non-bonding state to the anti-bonding pi orbitals. If very less energy is required, this means these should be more probable. But because of energy considerations, these are more probable, but they are symmetry forbidden transitions. Why symmetry forbidden transitions? These are symmetry forbidden because anti-bonding pi orbital, it lies perpendicular to the non-bonding orbital. So this is non-bonding orbital, that is the anti-bonding orbital. Both are perpendicular to each other. So there is a gap between the two orbitals. Electron cannot cross the gap, but it should have space. So there is a very less space from there, or very small passage is there that electron can cross from one orbital to the another orbital. It means there is less possibility because probability is less. What this is, you can't say that probability is 0. So there is because there is a passage. So electron can cross from the non-bonding state to the anti-bonding. So because of symmetry, these are the forbidden transitions. Otherwise, by the energy consideration, these are more probable transitions. Some transitions are spin forbidden transitions. Whenever transitions occurs, then spin should not change. If it is plus half, it should be plus half. It is minus half, it should be minus half. Any transition that is accompanied by change in the spin, then that transition is not allowed transition. Then comes to the main part, what is meant by the chromophore or auxochrome and auxochrome. As the word indicates, chrome means color. So earlier the definition was that any part of the molecule that is capable of imparting the color to the compound, then that is termed as the chromophore. What now? Definition has been changed. Not necessarily the chromophore means related to the color. Chromophore is that part or that group in the compound which is capable of absorbing in the UV visible region. So any part of the compound that is capable of absorbing in the UV visible region, that is termed as the chromophore. This is the new definition. Auxochrome, color enhancer. This is that part in the molecule which itself do not absorb in the UV visible region, but it is having capability of shifting absorbance to the longer wavelength. Whatever earlier absorbance is occurring, that is shifted to the longer side. See the example here. This is benzene. So lambda max, it is absorbing at the 255 nanometer with molar extinction coefficient 203. So that is a chromophore. Benzene is a chromophore because it is able to absorb in the UV visible region 200 to 800 nanometer. As we are introducing NH2 group, so it changes into the aniline. Now NH2 group is able to conjugate with the benzene part. So because of conjugation, the absorbance shift from 255 nanometer to the 280 nanometer to the longer side. Wavelength is changing into the longer side with increase in the epsilon value, increase in the molar absorptivity. Such a shift is termed as the bathochromic shift, as well as it is termed as a red shift. So auxochrome, it is a color enhancer. It increases the intensity or it increases the color. If it is yellow, it will becomes more yellowish, darker yellow, because of introduction of the you can say amino group. Earlier the compound, if it is yellow, it will become more yellow. So the pale yellow becomes more yellow. Auxochrome, it enhances the color, but experimentally it is changing the wavelength from the lower region to the longer region, to the longer side, with increase in the molar absorptivity. Molar absorptivity is a direct reflection of the intensity of the line. It means intensity of the line also increases. I said bathochromic and shift or red shift. What are these? Again see the same, one more example of the previous one. This is a azo compound. So azo part is able to absorb in the UV visible region at 320 nanometer with the epsilon value 21,000. But as we introduce here a auxochrome, that is the ethoxy part, over the oxygen there is presence of two lone pairs that are able to conjugate with this system. So that are changing its lambda max from 320 to 385 nanometer. A change of 65 nanometer unit, as well as the epsilon value, it has been doubled. So such a shift is termed as the red shift. Why red? As we are moving from 320 to 800, it means 800 is the last limit, that is nearby the red color. So we are moving toward the red color. That is why we say it is a red shift or it is a bathochromic shift. Since every bathochromic shift or red shift is accompanied by increase in the intensity of the signal, so that is also termed as the hyperchromic shift. We say it is also a hyperchromic shift. Another type of shift is hypsochromic shift or hypochromic shift. What is hypsochromic shift? It is blue shift. Whenever a part of conjugation it is removed from the system, then it causes to change it into the shorter wavelength side. See the example here. Aniline is absorbing at 285 nanometer. If I protonate it by adding the HCl, the NH2 part changes into NH3 positive Cl negative. It means the lone pair now it is lost. Now that lone pair is not available to conjugate with the benzene. So its lambda max has been decreased from 285 to 203 nanometer. So such a shift is toward the backward side of the red or toward the blue side or toward the UV side. So generally we say it is the blue shift or it is the hypsochromic shift. What is hypo? It is also accompanied by decrease in the epsilon value. Hyperchromic means increase in the epsilon value. Hypochromic means decrease in the epsilon value. So every bathochromic shift is accompanied by increase in the epsilon value or it is also a hyperchromic shift, and every hypsochromic shift is accompanied by decrease in the epsilon value or it is a hyperchromic shift also. Continuing the bathochromic shift and hypochromic shift, how bathochromic red shift can be achieved? By attaching an oxochrome to the chromophore. This is benzene earlier discussed. If we attach NH2 group here, there is an increase in conjugation, and because of increase in conjugation it is shifting toward the longer side or longer wavelength side, lambda max. That is why it is sent to the red shift. By conjugation of two chromophores, this is one chromophore able to absorb at 175. This is another chromophore able to absorb 175, but when we are joining these two, it is a butadiene now. It absorbed at 270 nanometers. So there is a shift from 175 to 217 nanometer. This means this is a bathochromic shift or it is a red shift. How polarity is going to affect or solvent is going to affect the shift, that we will discuss this later on. Hypsochromic shift, it is totally reverse of above. Here attaching an oxochrome, but downward it is detaching an oxochrome from the chromophore. It means we are removing the conjugation. And why the removal of conjugation? By any means. But by any means? See one example here. Two rings are fused here. This is a biphenyl. So both the rings are in the same plane and there is a conjugation of one benzene with the another benzene. Because of that it is absorbing in the UV visible region. But when I introduce one methyl group here, one benzene remains in the same plane, but the plane of the another benzene has been changed. It is now perpendicular to this one. So this means pi orbital of one, they will be perpendicular to the pi orbital of the another benzene. So there cannot be a crossover or there cannot be a resonance because now the pi orbitals are not lying in the same plane. Because of that there is a removal of conjugation. So this means it will cause a blue shift. Again the effect of polarity that we will discuss in the next section. How solvent is going to affect the UV visible spectra. We use the various solvents. The solvent should be transparent in the range that we are examining. It should not absorb in that particular range. It should not have any effect on the fine structure of the absorption band. Generally, whatever material we are taking, that should not interact with the solvent. If there is a interaction, but means interaction. Interaction means bonding. What type of bonding? Any dipole concerned bonding or any type of hydrogen bonding. Suppose water is taken, then water can form the hydrogen bond with the molecule or which the compound which is to be tested in the UV visible. So whenever we are taking the polar solvent, then they affect the spectra. But when we are taking non-polar solvent, say they do not affect the spectra. So see one spectra here. This is the clear darker line. So that is having ridges as well as that is having the peaks. So C peaks are sharper and clear when we are taking the spectra in isooctane. Isooctane is a non-polar solvent. As the solvent is changed from isooctane to the ethanol, now ethanol is a polar solvent. The spectra is little bit similar to this one, but it has been smoothened. It means whenever we are taking the polar solvent, we are deprived of the actual information of the UV visible spectra. So care must be taken while taking the UV visible spectra that which type of solvent has been used and which is not used. Generally we avoid the polar solvent to be used in the UV visible spectra because fine structure that is lost from the spectra. These are some solvent here with the lowest transparency limit below which they cannot be used. So for water it is 190, for hexane 195, ethanol it is 205, dioxane it is 215, chloroform 240 and carbon tetrachloride it is 265. Generally 95% ethanol is used in the UV visible spectra. Whenever there is a less interaction between the solvent and the compound taken, for example this is ethanol, that is butadiene. Butadiene is clearly non-polar, this is polar, so less interaction will be there between the two components. Less interaction, so it means the UV visible spectra will be affected less. But whenever the solvent taken is also polar and the compound discussed, for example a enone means the alkene as well as ketone part is there, so that is a polar part, ketone, so that is able to interact with the polar solvent. So polar will attract the polar and there will be a bonding. In this case the spectra will be affected much more. Let us discuss some of the these transitions here which are affected or which are not affected. Whenever we have to discuss the solvent effect, we must know about the polarity of the molecule in the ground state as well as polarity of the molecule in the excited state. So first is N to sigma star. Leave it because they are of less interest. What N to pi star, they are somewhat probable. So non-bonding electron, they are excited to the pi anti-bonding molecular orbital. I have taken here an alkene with amino group, NH2 group here. So the two pair of electron that is shown by the arrow here. So whenever there will be a N to pi star transition, so one of the electron it remains there, but one of the electron has been moved to the pi star. So I have shown a lifted state of this one. Now whether this is polar or that one is polar, that we have to discuss. That is the ground state, that is the excited state. First of all discuss the ground state. In the ground state, this lone pair is available over the nitrogen that can interact with the H positive of the water or alcohol. Water is polar, so hydrogen is delta positive, oxygen is delta negative. So the delta positive part of the water that can interact with this lone pair because this is available. So ground state can interact with the water. What about the excited state? In the excited state, the pair is not available since one of the electron has been migrated from the non-bonding state to the anti-bonding state. So which has been moved to the anti-bonding, that electron is not available for the bonding. So it means excited state cannot form hydrogen bond with the water. What in ground state that is available, so ground state is able to form hydrogen bond with the water. So it means ground state is more polar, but excited state is less polar. Let us discuss one more example here. It is pi to pi star transition. So this is an ethylene where the double bond pi bond has been shown by the two electrons. One is this one, another is this one. As there will be pi to pi star transition, so one of the electron has been migrated from the bonding state to the anti-bonding state. Now, which is more polar here? Here, this is ethylene molecule. The electron is lying in the bonding molecular state. Bonding means it is lying near to the nucleus of the carbon. But when it has been moved from that, it has been moved to some upper state, pi star. Now it has moved away from the nucleus. It means it will leave carbon positive. Here carbon is not positive because both the electrons, they are lying in the bonding state. But here electron has moved away from here. So this means it will leave the carbon positive, carbon nucleus positive. So this means the excited state, it is more polar, but the ground state, it is less polar. So in above case, ground state is polar, excited state is non-polar, but here the ground state is non-polar but excited state is polar. So in pi to pi star transition, where ground state is less polar, so this is ground state, that is forming less bond with the water, so very slight decrease in the energy of the ground state, because ground state possibility is less in pi to pi star transitions. These are pi to pi star transitions. It is less polar because electrons are present near to the nucleus, so there is no charge over the carbon, so this is not polar. But whenever excited, it has moved away, so carbon will bear some positive charge. So here ground state, it is less polar. Less polar, so by the polar solvent it will be affected very less. But ground state is more polar, excited state is more polar. So as excited state is more polar, it will able to interact with the water, able to form bond with the water. So every bonding is accompanied by decrease in the energy, release in the energy. So bonding is accompanied by release in the energy. So by release of energy, it means its energy will come down. So excited state energy is lowered, but ground state energy is very less lowered. So the gap between these two, ground state and excited state, it becomes less. Because of that, there is a bathochromic shift or red shift. Because now, to overcome this gap, very less amount of energy or longer wavelength is required for this type of excitation. In case it is N to pi star transitions, the ground state is more polar, so it will interact with